my praises off. You see, blessed folk don't sit there with their mouth closed. Blessed folk start making noise. How many blessed folk I got in here? You ain't afraid to help me testify. It ain't always been a good day, but your good day outweigh your bad day.
Yes, sir.
You got to learn how to hang out with folk who, first of all, are going to care for you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Secondly, got their own shit.
Yes, sir.
But then there's one third and final thing, and I bid y'all farewell. Because, you see, you got to always understand something. No matter how smooth the sailing is, there's always a storm coming. I wish I had some help here. Adam, you know what I'm talking about, don't you? I don't care how much right you do, Don. There's always a storm on the horizon. I'm trying to ease in. Y'all gonna help me land this plane on the runway of holiness, aren't you? Just look at your neighbor and say, let's help him land the plane. Look at him, say, touch your neighbor and say, neighbor, get your foot off the brake so we can ride this train on in. I wish I had some help here. You see, you got to always understand that no matter how smooth your ride is, there's a storm waiting on you. One writer said, either you just left a storm, either you're in the middle of a storm, or you're headed to it. You got to touch your neighbor and say, storm is coming. Shake two people's hands, say, just hold on, there's a storm coming. You ought to shake some hands and tell them, say, neighbor, I don't care how good you feel, there's a storm coming.
Yes, sir.
And you got to be careful that when you hook up with folk, you want somebody, first of all, who gonna care for you. Secondly, who got their own shit. But then the text says that when the storm comes, they went down in the hinder part of the ship and they woke up Jesus. Y'all ain't talking to me. You need somebody in your circle who ain't afraid to talk to the Lord. Well, I wish I had some help here. Why don't you just look at somebody and say, prayer still works. Why don't you look at somebody and tell them, say, prayer still changes things. I wish I had somebody. If anybody want to help me testify that God will hear you when you call him. Y'all just tell somebody and say, neighbor, I ain't talking about what I heard. I'm talking about what I know. That God will answer prayer. I'm trying to close this thing here, but is there anybody in here tonight who can help me help somebody else? Why don't you just look at somebody around you and tell them, I've been in the storm, but I prayed. Y'all are like y'all scared to talk to one another, but the Lord, heard my cry.
Come on now. Come on now.
I'm trying to get out of here, y'all. You ought to just touch somebody and say, neighbor. You know, they don't sing the song much no more, do they, John? But they used to sing a song that said, I love the Lord because he heard my cry. And I want to tell you tonight, God still answers prayer. If you pray and pray right, God will answer prayer. Have I got a witness? And I wonder, do I have anybody here who knows that something bound to happen when you call his name? If you ain't too sophisticated, you ought to help me close this thing. Won't God answer prayer? I got a witness? Prayer will get you out of trouble. Prayer will put bread on your table. Prayer will make your enemies leave you alone. Prayer will make the doctor make the right decision. I wish I had some people know about prayer. Is there anybody here can testify that prayer still changes things? Prayer still open doors that are shut in your face. Prayer will make mean people get behind you. Prayer will heal troubled children. If you want your house to get back right, you ought to put some prayer in it. Have I got a witness? You ought to hang out with somebody when you can't pray for yourself. It's going to lift you up in prayer. Have I got a witness? I need to tell y'all something. I'm the preacher here now, but I'm not preaching because I've always prayed for myself, but somebody prayed for me. Had me on their mind, took the time and prayed for me. And I got to leave you here now, but ain't God all right? I've enjoyed y'all. I've had a wonderful time. But if I don't see y'all no more, may the Lord bless you real good. I'm gone, y'all. I'll see y'all next time. But before I close, let me tell you a little story. A story is told about a woman who didn't have no food in her house. Y'all gonna help me? And she went in the store and she started stealing food. She took some steaks and she put them down in a dress. She took some ham and she put them down in a dress. She got some lettuce and some celery and started putting it down in her clothes. But she got caught by the manager shoplifting and stealing clothes. And they took the old woman to jail. Y'all gonna help me? And when she got before the judge said, "You've been found guilty of stealing. How do you plead?" She said, "I'm guilty because I did it." She said, "Well, your fine is $100 or 50 days in jail." Y'all gonna pray with me? But the old woman said, "I don't have no money. If I would have had $100, I wouldn't have stolen groceries. But the reason I stole the groceries, I got 5 children at the house, and I didn't want my children to go hungry, and I didn't have no money. My husband died, and we ain't got nothing left, but my children had to eat." And the judge said, "Well, the only thing I could do is find you guilty." She said, "That's all right, Your Honor, but please don't put me in jail. I can't afford to get nobody to take care of my children." But let me tell you what the judge did. The judge saw something in the woman. She said, "If I'd have had the money, I never would have stolen anything. So what I'm going to do, Judge, I'm going to throw myself on the mercy of the court. Y'all going to help me?" And let me tell you what the judge did. He called for a recess, but he said, "I want everybody to stay intact." He pulled off his judgment robe, came down around in front of the camera, looked up at the main stage, ran his hand in his pocket, pulled out $100 bill, put it on the table, got back around, went around, put the judge's seat back on, sat in the chair, and said the woman's fine had been paid in full. Please dismiss. Today, I was standing before a judge, and I was on my way to hell. Y'all gonna pray with me? But the judge to the right hand of the Father. Put the judging mantle back